Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday, May 8th. The Day Weather Podcast today talks about some cool May weather coming our way here for a while. It's going to be a bit, folks, for many of you listening and watching this podcast to get back to some consistently real warm spring weather. I know we all want it. If you want it, get in the car, truck, and go over the divide. The western slope will have the best weather. We're going to be cool through the weekend, cool into early next week, east of the divide, and into early next week. West of the divide, the cold air just not deep enough to get there. So get on the western slope if you want sunny, warm conditions. Now, rain chances are going to go up for both sides of the continental divide early next week. Be good to see some moisture come back in. Shane Smith will be here again to talk about early season lawn care. I know a lot of you have a lot of questions about what to do with the lawn this time of year. We'll talk about that. Yesterday, the wind was just ridiculous. This is I-25 between mile marker 3 and 4 southbound, just north of the Colorado-Wyoming border on the Wyoming side. And there you can see a blowover. Winds 50, 60 miles an hour or more yesterday on I-25 and I-80 as that cold front rolled on through. Mile marker 3, mile marker 4 in this area right here, notorious blowover area for anybody northbound or southbound in I-25 coming out of Colorado into Wyoming or vice versa. Always the place to avoid if driving a high-profile vehicle or a trailer when it's this windy. The good news is the winds will be down considerably. This is what our precipitation forecast looks like through Monday afternoon. Most of the green and blue and gray here you see is actually shower activity that comes in Sunday night into Monday, but there will be some shower activity tonight and Saturday. There is another cold front tonight and Saturday morning that'll come out of Montana, sweeping through like this, producing a few overnight showers, but they won't amount to much. We're then going to go into Saturday and Sunday with generally cool, dry conditions east of the divide, sunny, warmer conditions west of the divide. 10 days, the precipitation totals start to go up. You can see a lot of blue, orange. We're hoping this comes to fruition. They really need the rain down there. We're looking at shower activity from the Pacific Northwest and Northern California increasing as we're going to see a flow of moisture again next week, bringing back shower and thunderstorm chances. But the air west of the divide and east of the divide continue to show this big contrast. This is Mother's Day Sunday, and you can see how cold the nation is east of the Rockies. The Pacific Northwest, the interior west, very warm conditions. Now, eventually what will happen is moisture from the Pacific, from a low coming off of Northern California, will come this way, and over and on top of the cold air reaches its peak on Tuesday. These are temperatures relative to normal. So as Pacific moisture overruns the cold air here east of the divide, this is where we're going to get showers and thunderstorms next week as cool air east of the mountains will be overrun by warmer, moist air coming in off the west coast. If you were to average the next 10 days relative to normal, this takes us through next Sunday, the 17th. Look at all the blue and green. The majority of the nation on the whole for the next 10 days, much colder than normal, unless you're on the other side of the divide. By next weekend, though, big warm-up coming. Look at Western Canada. Look at the interior west here. There's going to be a bigger push of warmer air coming in, but it's going to take a week, basically, before we can see this big push of warmer air come into the nation. Here's the current jet stream pattern forecast. This is actually for Saturday into Sunday morning. This huge Gulf of Alaska ridge, really more of Alaska, Western Canada ridge, diving that big cold air mass into the central and eastern half of the nation. And temperatures are going to be responding to that. Now, by Monday and Tuesday, notice the ridge of high pressure here gets cut apart, and the jet stream cuts under it, coming in off the Pacific Northwest coast. So what that means is more of a milder air mass gets pushed in. But this little guy right here throws moisture this way, and with colder air still east of the divide, that's where we're going to see shower and thunderstorm activity pick up here during the first half of next week. By next weekend, this big trough in the west pumps a big ridge into the central and eastern United States. This area of high pressure means a big warm-up. So there's going to be a big warm-up coming by next weekend and the following days after that. So we do see warmer temperatures coming. But this guy right here, we're still expecting to want to meander into the Rockies right around the 20th and 21st, bringing a return to cooler wet weather after a big warm-up. Let's now listen to Shane Smith, and let's talk about early season gardening care for your lawn.
My preference is to hold off on an early spring lawn fertilization in exchange for doing a later fall fertilization, like in end of September, early October. And that seems to make for a lot healthier lawn. But for those of you who didn't think to do that fall fertilization, yeah, you can go out and do fertilization right around now. You always like to time it before some moisture coming in, because it does help to water in your fertilizer a little bit. I prefer to use, and I recommend to people to use either a slow release lawn fertilizer, it should say that on the label, or an organic base lawn fertilizer, and it would say that on a label. And the reason I like that is you get more for your money. It's a little slower release, and less of your nitrogen ends up in the groundwater, and more of it ends up in your plants. So that's usually a good way to go. Also, this time of year, I usually tell folks, don't worry about dethatching your lawn. The best way to get rid of thatch is to core aerate. We found out that if you remove the thatch of your lawn, you can actually damage the crowns of your lawn. Now it's like running your lawn through a comb. It looks nicer, but your lawn is more susceptible to disease and bugs and other problems. Where research has shown if you core aerate, you will get a lot healthier lawn, and that actually and that's where you poke the holes in the ground. Either manually with a tool, or you hire it done, or you rent a core aerator. And that's a good thing to do prior to fertilization as well. And that does more than just remove the thatch. That ends up making your lawn more able to utilize water and fertilizer through the course of the summer. Now, it does make your lawn look ugly as opposed to dethatching. And because you get all these little cores laid on your grass, it looks like a million cats visited your lawn. But that quickly goes away, or some people get out the rake and rake it up. But that's the main thing to be thinking about as far as lawns. Also, after core aeration, it's a great time to overseed if you've got bare spots. And they sell formulas of grass that are kind of designed for filling in patches. And that's a good way to go. When you do overseed, and you can, the one I would say it's a good time to remove your thatch and power rake. The only time I recommend it is if you really need to do an overseed, like extensive overseeding of a very troubled lawn that has lots of bare spots, because lawn seed needs to have soil contact to germinate. And if you sow lawn seed over a thickly thatched lawn, a lot of that seed's just not going to germinate. It's got to have soil contact.